Welcome to Ireland. My name is Janet and I'm going to give you some information on the international protection process so you have a better understanding of what lies ahead. This video will focus on applying for international protection, and the second video will focus on the main interview. At the end of each video, we will suggest where you can get more information. The information can change, so always check the International Protection Office website for the most up-to-date information. It's important to emphasise that this is not legal advice. Let's start by clarifying what international protection means. When you ask for international protection in Ireland, also called asylum, you are asking the government to give you protection because you fear persecution, serious harm, or death in your own country. This fear could be based on an experience that you have already had or a strong belief that it could happen in the future. Under the International Protection Act, you have to show that these fears are for reasons of race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership of a particular social group. Particular social groups are not defined, but may include LGBTQ+ or gender, but are not limited to these. While you wait the outcome of your application, you are known as an international protection applicant or an asylum seeker. They are the same thing. They mean that you have requested protection, but a decision has not yet been made in your case. A refugee is someone whose application for international protection has been granted. If an applicant is not granted refugee status, they may instead be granted subsidiary protection, as they are at risk of serious harm in their own country. If an applicant is not granted subsidiary protection, they may be granted permission to remain. Permission to remain is permission that allows you to remain and live in Ireland even if you are not in need of refugee status or subsidiary protection. There are a number of reasons why you may be given permission to remain, including your family or personal circumstances. It is granted by the Minister for Justice. Before talking about what to expect when you go to the International Protection Office, also known as the IPO, it's important to say that applying for international protection can be stressful. Applicants are often coming from countries where the state authorities are feared, so trusting the Irish authorities can be difficult. But it is important to know that the IPO staff will treat you with respect and give you time to explain what happened. You have to trust them. You can ask to apply for international protection at the airport or ferry terminal when you arrive, or you can go directly to the IPO in Mount Street in Dublin City. In all cases, applicants must make their application in person at this office. There is a single application procedure for refugee status, subsidiary protection, and permission to remain. This means the one form covers all three things. The first thing that happens is a short interview with an international protection officer to assess if you are eligible to apply. If you are a couple, you will be interviewed separately. You will be offered an interpreter if you need one. It's important that you understand each other's language and dialect. If you don't, or you feel that maybe the interpreter isn't doing a good job, then you need to tell the interviewer. At the interview, you will be asked many questions, such as where you're from, how you travelled, why you fled your country, why you cannot return, and what documents you have. You will be asked to hand over any relevant documents. Although the answers you give will be short, it's very important that you answer each question accurately, as the information you give now will be compared to what you say in your main interview later on. The interviewer will record your answers on their computer. At this stage, all applicants will have their photo taken, and those over 14 years of age will have their fingerprints taken. The International Protection Officer will offer you the support of a cultural mediator who speaks your language. Their job is to explain how the asylum process works and assist you in completing your main questionnaire. It's important to tell them if you have difficulty reading or writing so they can take this into account when helping you. It's also important to tell them if you're feeling distressed or worried for your safety so they can organise additional support if you need it. You will be asked to complete the main questionnaire form on the same day as you make your application. This questionnaire asks many of the same questions you were asked in the initial interview, but in much more detail. It will be used as the basis for your main interview and is an important document. Again, it's really important to give as much detail as you can. It starts by asking for details about your family, your addresses, your education, your work. It then asks how you travel to Ireland and what documents you used to travel. You will be asked if anyone helped you along the way. And then it asks you to explain what circumstances led you to flee your country. This is your opportunity to tell your story, so try and remember as much detail as you can. Try to be specific about dates and locations. Use words that properly describe what happened. It can be difficult, but don't be embarrassed or ashamed. It's really important to tell the interviewer everything. You will be asked why the authorities in your country did not protect you. If you didn't ask for help, you will have to explain why not. You will have to explain what happened when you tried to relocate to another part of the country, and if you didn't, why not? When you've finished your questionnaire, your answers will be read back to you. It's important to change anything that is not correct. Once you sign the questionnaire, you are agreeing that it is accurate. If you later remember something important that you forgot to include, you can ask your solicitor to submit the additional information to the IPO. You might have to explain why you didn't include it the first time. Before you leave the IPO, you will be given your temporary registration certificate card and other forms confirming that you are now an international protection applicant. You will also be provided with an important notice which contains a QR code to the online IPO information booklet. This booklet is available in lots of languages and explains how the international protection process works. You will also be provided with an information leaflet on how to get legal advice and assistance from the Legal Aid Board. If you have applied for international protection in another EU member state before coming to Ireland, you may come under consideration of the Dublin regulation process. This process is used to decide which country will consider your application for international protection. If the other member state decides that they will process your international protection application, you will be transferred to that member state. You will be notified of this decision by letter. If your application will be processed in Ireland, you will be notified by letter. If you come from one of the 8 countries considered as safe countries of origin, those are Albania, Georgia, North Macedonia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, Kosovo, and South Africa, you will be given an interview date which is only 2 or 3 weeks away. So it's really important to go to the Legal Aid Board office as soon as possible. Most applicants wait many months for their interview. In the next video, I'll explain what happens at the interview. So let's recap. International protection applicants have to show that their experience meets the criteria set out in the International Protection Act. It's really important to give accurate information in as much detail as you can. The IPO interpreters and cultural mediators are there to help you with your application. Once you've submitted your questionnaire, the next step will be your main interview. The questionnaire and the interview will determine which of any of the 3 status types you are eligible for. I hope you find this video useful.